Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway, and thank you once again for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And like always, if you want to see something in the show or you have a bright idea that you want to see us do on the show, drop them in those comments below or hit us on any one of our social media outlets. Holler at us, we holler back. But without further ado, let's jump right into this show. We got a hot one for you guys tonight. But first, let me introduce you to my co-host, and he goes by the name of Mr. Patrick Nagle. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you, man?
Oh man, I'm hanging in here. It's been a rough week, but we have to dust it off and we have to move on.
We do, and that's what sports is about, right?
Oh yes,
Provide this little escape from the day to day, and gives us the ability to watch and get wrapped up in it. And it's the greatest reality show that ever was invented.
Exactly. And everybody has a team, and everybody has something to believe in, and everybody has a hope and a prayer that their team will advance, will move on, will move forward. But hey, you know what? Let's jump right into the MMA. Let's go to the MMA because there's some things moving around in there. Real interesting. Fighting for a minute has been on my list at the bottom of the list because it hasn't been what it's been. Boxing has really let me down.
For
But
sure.
women's boxing, I've liked women's boxing, and in MMA, I like when the women fight also. It's the women are starting to stir it up a little bit.
They are.
From the WNBA to the MMA. Wow, and boxing. Because Carissa Shields is outstanding, but
She is outstanding. Speaking of women's sports, I actually went to a Seattle Torrent game here in Seattle. Women's pro hockey, great time, sold out arena.
man,
The game, it's a little less physical, but for a hockey novice such as myself, it's actually a little easier to follow the game when it's moving a little slower, and there's the physicality is kind of removed in the crispness of the passing. So really great time. I'm happy to see women's sports on the uprise. And actually segueing right back to MMA, we have an interesting fight that's probably 15 years past its prime, but two pioneers of women's MMA, Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey, are going to fight on May 16th. And,
some big names.
Big names. Both have been inactive for the greater part of a decade. Ronda doing a lot of WWE stuff, and Gina doing a lot of acting. She was in the Daredevil movies, and she also spent some time.
I knew that face. I'm like, is she a fighter? Because I could swear she's an actress.
Yeah.
Didn't she play in Mandalorian?
Yeah. So, so she's been doing the acting thing, and Ronda's been doing the acting thing in the WWE. Sorry for all those that believe it's real.
We would have been arguing when I was a kid because you couldn't tell me Brutus the Barber Beefcake wasn't real.
I got bad news for you. They're going to fight. And an interesting fight on paper, as it would have been, a decade ago, is that you have two contrasting styles, right? Gina being a striker, more of a boxing specialist, and Ronda being more of a ground specialist, being an Olympic judo medalist and a national champion and world champion in judo. So styles make fights. Should be interesting to see what these two ladies have after all this time. Also on that card, you have Francis Ngannou, who probably the greatest heavyweight fighter not in the UFC.
Right.
And Nate Diaz is going to make his return and is going to fight.
That's been a long time coming.
It is. He's going to fight Mike Perry. So two guys that are going to fight. They're not going to dance around. They're going to get after it on Jake Paul's MVP on Netflix. So May 16th, some interesting fights.
Jake Paul,
the promoter. Jake Paul, the promoter.
Hey, I'm not gonna say nothing bad. Hey, that guy's getting his money, and I can always appreciate somebody knowing how to turn a buck.
Amen. But yeah, so I'm interested to see. I'm a huge Ronda fan.
I am too.
We've shared some of the same mats back in the day in the judo world when I trained in competitive judo, and I can say that you know I she got bad advice toward the end of her career,
Wow.
which kind of led to her
Brutal defeat.
very just a defeat, but also a moral defeat. Um,
Yeah.
I think I don't. In my opinion, her corner didn't really give her the right advice about who she was and what she was,
Right.
and I feel like they led her astray, convinced her
It
she
looked
could
like
be
you
a
could see that
striker.
on her face at the time of the fight too. Like, what's going on?
Well, yeah, you've been told you're this great striker, and when you're standing there and you're striking and it's not working, and now you're kind of up the proverbial creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
And if everybody knows you're going to shoot the takedown, so for her, I'd be curious to see how she fights against Gina. Gina hasn't done anything since she lost a long time ago in Showtime Strike Force way back when. So, she got knocked out in her last fight. So her and Ronda have that in common. But I'm actually interested to see how this card goes and see if there's going to be an alternative to the UFC. There are other leagues. There's the PFL. There's Invicta, which is all women fighting, but UFC is so dominant, you don't really hear much about the other leagues.
Right.
But I'm kind of curious to see what Jake Paul puts together and how this card looks.
Yeah, I want to see how good of a promoter he is. Is it going to be extravaganza, the where you got the goosebumps going because he's bringing back a lot of nostalgia
Sure.
in this. But what I want to ask you, do you think this is going to be competitive? Is Ronda going to come back and she's not going to be sure of herself? She's going to be playing it safe. What type of fight do you think we're going to get from this?
I don't think it's going to be competitive. I think Ronda is twice the athlete that Gina is,
Wow.
and
Gina looks powerful.
Gina was powerful.
She looks it now still.
Well, there's two types of muscles. There's muscles that go, and there's
Right.
muscles for show. Um, I'm not so sure that Gina's aren't the show type anymore.
Right.
I the thing that I see in this fight is that I know for a fact that Ronda's been training for a long time and getting back into the groove. I don't believe Gina's been training for a long time, and I think the rust is going to be real. I think Ronda doing, even though it's WWE stuff, it's still movement, athleticism. I think
Right.
Ronda, is going to be in far better fight shape, competitive shape, and I feel it's going to be a blowout on Ronda's part. And I think she'll probably put her on the ground, submit her in the
Wow.
in the in the first round.
From what I'm looking at, you explained it just so how their faces look. Ronda looks like she's ready for a comeback. Ronda in her and this I'm just going off of the looks and the stare down
Right.
and when they went out there. Ronda looks like she really wants to make a comeback and make a go at it. And the other one, it looks like she's ready for a new movie role.
I think
She should play Xena, the warrior princess. Like, she
I
really
think
has that's the role she should take.
I
But
think she might be there for the payday.
there it is. There it is. And it's written all over this match.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a competitive fight. I was a huge Gina fan. I was there when she fought in Strike Force in San Jose, in the very first women MMA match. I was in
Right.
the audience. I really hope that she comes out and they deliver a barn burner and an awesome fight. Uh, I'm just not. I'm just
We need to go to a match. We need to just go to a match and go sit ringside
well,
and
well.
check it out.
I can make that happen. This fight is in Anaheim, by the way. So
Mm.
not too far from you. May 16th on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account, it's free. And hey, tune in. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Man, well, all I can tell you is Rhonda's one of her biggest fans, and her fight when she took that brutal beating. You know when you like a fighter and like it pisses you off at the same time, and it like it didn't look like she prepared for this fight. It didn't look like she was ready for the fight. It looked like she went in there on the sheer her not her presence, but on
Well,
like her own hype. She went in there like you said, like it was this in her head, like can nobody beat me? Like
well, I think one thing that happens a lot with fighters, specifically in MMA, is that when you're the champ and you're just smoking everybody, and let's just call a spade a spade.
right.
Ronda is a one-dimensional fighter, right? Her striking is average at best. It's just good enough to gain entry, to get a takedown, to get you on the ground, and
Whoa,
either
whoa, whoa. I
and
didn't like
either
you calling her average. Now I told you this,
striking.
I'm a fan of Ronda
Her
Rousey.
striking, her
Okay,
striking is average at best.
okay, okay.
Her 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 grappling, her judo is world class, right? There's only two American women that can lay claim that they've ever captured an Olympic medal in judo. Her
Okay,
and Kayla Harrison. That's it. So I mean that's a pretty short list. So the
true.
point being, her grappling is her strength, her superpower, if you will. And for whatever reason, she decided, or she was trained to believe that she could stand toe to toe with Holly Holm. Holly Holm, a world champion boxer. I that's just not the style of, if I'm coaching Ronda, it's we're going to throw 1-2 and we're going immediately for the
Straight to
takedown.
the
We're going to get
ground.
her butt on the ground and we're going to break her arm, or we're going to force her to quit because we're going to choke her to death. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to drill that and drill that and drill that. She decided to stand and trade, and that I cannot understand for the life of me. But that's ego, right? I'm the
Very much
best in the
so.
world. I'm the baddest woman on the planet. No one's going to come in here and tell me what I can and can't do. And I think she got caught in the ego game.
Yeah, man, you hit it on the button because she did everything right into that match. That match was a turning point. You know, it's kind of like when you start drinking your own Kool-Aid.
For
Like,
sure.
hey,
I will point out though, while we're gassing up women's sports,
okay,
that was a women's headlighted fight in Melbourne, Australia. Largest live crowd for an MMA event, 90,000 people.
wow, wow. Hey, well, I'm not just hyping it up. It's what it is.
Oh, it is, but
It's what it
let's
is.
point it out.
Boxing is a soap opera. The only good boxing we've been getting has been from women, and basically, it's been Carissa Shields dominating the sport.
Yep.
But at least these women come out and fight and fight. It doesn't look like it's fixed. It doesn't feel fixed. It feels like somebody is in there trying. And boxing hasn't looked like that in a while.
No, it's been. I think you have to go back to the 80s.
Yeah, play the Young and the Restless music,
Yeah.
and that's what it's been.
When you have, I remember when I first became a boxing fan, you had Sugar Ray fighting, Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Roberto
Good fight.
Duran. And, those fights were just, epic wars. And yeah, and that's when I fell in love with the sport, only to be disappointed with a lot of stuff since. But,
Yeah.
um, you
That's
know,
back when somebody opened their mouth too much and they didn't care if it was your turn next. It's get in the ring.
yeah, let's go.
Let's do this. Let's dance.
Yeah, no, I was all for it. But yeah, so hey, that's it for the MMA stuff. I think that's going to be an exciting thing to see. Let's see what happens.
Yes, and I hope things turn around because I feel sorry for you guys because you guys didn't come up in the era that me and Patrick did, where fights, even at home, it felt like you were in an arena where it was just exciting. You couldn't wait for the fight to start.
Yeah.
I wish
Well,
people could feel that feeling again.
listen, I feel bad for the guys, that the young people of today, because you and I are of the age when Mike Tyson was coming up. And he was
Ooh!
fighting literally every other week on ESPN after dark, and he was smoking fools,
Oh,
knocking them out of the ring, and it was like it's must see TV, man. That
yes,
dude was,
sir.
and he was so dominant. He was fighting every other week because he wasn't getting touched.
Yeah.
And that was special. And when he fought on pay-per-view, it was stop everything. This, and he's fighting.
Iron Mike Tyson.
He was the man.
Nostalgia for your butt right there.
There we go.
Moving right along, man. Let's jump right into this NFL.
Let's do it.
What's the hot topic in the NFL right now, Patrick?
Well, I mean, it's free agency, right? So the hot topic is teams that have improved themselves, right? Or teams that have not improved themselves.
And what team do you think has improved themselves?
I have to give some love to the Raiders, right? I mean,
wow.
I think the Raiders are a team that they've been doormats for a long time. And
their last Super Bowl was it 83?
Yeah, but they just haven't been competitive. I mean, and then the first chance they get to be competitive, they have a great season. Derek Carr breaks his leg in a meaningless game when they're up 30 points. He can't play in the playoffs. That team had a real chance to do something, and they haven't really been anything since. But I mean, they cleaned house. They got the number 1 pick this year. Their Spytek, their new GM, and Brady being a more active person. I have to say, I love a lot of their signings. I mean, I loved Linderbaum as a center.
It looks exciting
to really help the rookie quarterback, which we all know they're going to draft at number 1. I love.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'd be willing to bet the farm on that one.
Yeah.
I love their defensive improvements, and I love the fact that their defensive improvements and they get Max back, right? I mean, they traded Crosby, and now he's back to go along with all the guys they added. Suddenly, that defense looks pretty good.
Well, tell me if you think I'm safe. Recently, how I ran into a few Raider fans, and they kept saying Raiders. You know how they are.
Oh yeah,
you know how they are. And they were, and we were going back and forth, and they told me that the Raiders were going to win a wild card spot. The guy even bet me $500. I told him I didn't want to bet him, and he told me, I'm gonna tell you exactly how he told me. Not only will the Raiders win a playoff spot, that they're going to win it convincingly. And I said, do you realize what division you're in? He's like, Patrick Mahomes is past his time. I was like, are you serious? And then I wanted to feel his forehead, but this was a grown man because I knew he had a fever. He doubled down and was like, they thought that Derek Carr, that the Raiders should pick him up for a year so he could mentor the new QB coming in. And I said, you do realize he's retired, right? They're like, yeah. But they should hire him to mentor the new QB coming in. And I sit and listen to people like this, and I'm nice. And Patrick, I didn't want to take advantage of him. Because they could have a stellar season. We don't.
Listen,
yes, we do.
I think for the Raiders, a stellar season would be 6 wins, based upon where they've been. I'm not saying they're going to contend for a Super Bowl. I'm saying I like the pieces they're putting together, and I like the plan. Remember a minute ago when you said people drinking their own Kool-Aid. I mean, that I think this individual is maybe drinking a lot of the Kool-Aid. I think they've improved themselves. Unfortunately, the Chiefs have improved themselves astronomically. So, I mean, getting, the Super Bowl MVP and the running back, giving them a real running threat that they haven't had, getting Eric Bieniemy back as a play caller along with Andy Reid, kind of putting the band back together. I'm not seeing that the Chiefs are going anywhere anytime soon. The Broncos got immensely better today.
Bingo.
By trading for Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins. Now you put him and Cortland Sutton together with, wow. I mean, that's that team. They look like they're want to contend for a Super Bowl. I mean, they were on the doorstep. Their quarterback couldn't play.
They would have won last season.
They would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Denver would have won last season.
I'm not going to go there, but I said they would have at least got to the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, easily.
But I think those teams. I mean, other teams have improved themselves. We talked about our Panthers. I know that not everyone's a Panther fan. I think they have to be in that top 5 in terms of improving their squad. And I think that what you see here is teams getting ready for the draft, and the good teams that want to go from good to great are filling their holes so that they can draft however the board falls. They don't have to overreach for a player. And I just feel that the Raiders and the Broncos, Panthers, Chiefs have put themselves in position to do that. I like the improvements of those teams. I like the improvements of the Patriots. I like the improvement of the Patriots picking up Romeo Dobbs. I think that's a good pickup for
I
them.
love when I see teams improving like this.
Yeah. Um,
We can
we
talk
can,
about one team that didn't improve.
yeah,
That that
that's gonna be the Dolphins.
there you have it. There you have it. Well, Dolphin management, what are you guys doing? What's really going on over there? I understand rebuild, but you go out and get Willis.
Malik
But this
Willis.
is a key example. Say the name again.
Malik Willis, yeah.
Malik Willis, and you do this, and you must be planning on doing something in the draft to help him out.
Well,
It has to be that. It has to be.
yeah, I think Miami was obviously it's an entirely new regime, from GM on down. Clearly they looked at what they had and they just stripped it to the studs. They're carrying a staggering $175 million dead cap hit for this season.
Ooh,
Put that
my
into
goodness.
to put that into perspective for everybody, that means they only have $127 million of cap to build their entire team. So they're clearly just clearing it out. I mean, they paid Tua $100 million to go away. They traded away Waddle today. They're eating a bunch of his stuff. They got a bunch of picks. They're not going to be a competitive football team this year. And, I guess they're on the 3 to 5 year rebuild plan. I hear that. I really feel bad for any Dolphin
Even if
fans.
you're on a rebuild plan, don't you have to have a plan before the plan?
Well, I
You
mean,
gotta. They have a new QB, and don't you have to keep his confidence up?
you do, and I thought, I thought they had a shell of something, right? With Devon Achane at the running back position, with Waddle at the receiver. I thought you had a little bit of a something there. They traded away Waddle, which was shocking to me. They got draft picks, okay, but draft picks are only great if you hit on the pick, right? I
Right.
mean, you could have 100 picks. If you miss, it's wasted. So I think they probably have a plan. I mean, the guy that they have pulling the shots there, John Eric, he comes from the Packers. The coach comes from the Packers. That's a pretty good team that usually has a plan and is very deliberate in free agency. I have to
Mhm.
believe they have a plan. I just have to think that they looked at all the flaws on their football team and they said,
Wishful thinking.
let's just blow this year up and let's get all this dead cap off our books in this year, and we can be a player next year, and let's see what we hit in the draft. That's the only thing I can think of. It's going to be a rough year for a Dolphin fan. My sympathies.
Hey, we've been there,
We've been there,
and, and,
but
somebody else has to suffer
yeah.
because we on the up.
So that I think that's a team that has really, as the quote goes, disimproved. Um,
Disimprove with no look at
yeah,
direction at all.
no. The other
Do you
team,
think they keep this coach, or this is just a stepping stone? Also, are they doing what the Raiders did with Pete Carroll?
no, I think you're going to see this team stick to the plan. I think they're going to give it a 3-year window to see.
Okay.
I think this is going to be automatically a do-over year, for them. I look at it. I mean, I think they just were screwed in so many ways, from all the contracts that were signed before, that they just had to kind of accelerate all that and get all that money burned out through the system and be competitive later. But I mean, 175 million, that's got to be a record. I didn't look it up, but I have to believe that there's never been a team that's gone into a year with more money in dead cap, meaning they're paying $175 million of players who are not on their team, who are on other teams,
Ridiculous.
and less than they have money left over to pay for their own team. I mean,
Now,
that's just incredible.
back to the Raiders a little bit.
Yes.
We're expecting the Raiders to pick the number 1 pick, QB coming out.
Yeah. Fernando.
Now,
Mendoza.
with that being said, we've seen a lot of number one picks not pan out.
For sure.
Even the Raiders drafted a guy named Jamarcus Russell, remember?
I do
He
remember.
was supposed to be this great. Remember, he could throw to the end zone on his knees, all that type of stuff.
He could.
But what did it pan out to be? And do you think this QB is going to pan out?
I do. I actually, yeah, as I mentioned on the show before, I lived in the Bay Area until about a year ago. He came from Cal,
Right.
and he was quite a player. I saw him play at Cal, lots of times. He's a very intelligent quarterback. You have to be pretty smart to get into Cal, and he transferred out to go to Indiana. And then he blew up. He single-handedly put Cal in a position to be competitive in a lot of games they didn't have any business being competitive in.
Right.
I thought he played phenomenal football for Indiana. He showed a lot of toughness, a lot of smarts against a very, very good Miami defense in the national championship game. I think he will succeed. I think he's too smart and he works too hard and he just has too good of an arm and he's just got the right attitude. I mean, Jamarcus Russell was a product of they didn't do a lot of the homework that they do now. And had they known about his social media exploits, had he had social media, I don't think they ever would have taken him. But I look at Fernando Mendoza, and I think he's a can't miss prospect. And that's why when I've heard a lot of people like, "Oh, the Raiders should trade and build more," I'm like, no, because I don't know that you would guarantee get someone better than him. And
and if they did get somebody, they're going to complain about him. It's better having somebody that that you have to grow with, rather than get somebody like a Kirk Cousins or somebody that you think is a quick fix. Because that's not one of those fan bases that can withstand a quick fix. Because any mistake, they're going to be down on the whole team. And
they've tried the quick fix, right?
You have to give them a chance.
The Raiders have tried the quick fix like 3 or 4 times, and it hasn't worked. And they've gone through, I think they're on their 4th head coach in 2 years or some incredible statistic like that. Like they're paying 4 coaches at this point. Like, I think it's time for them to stick. I think Clint Kubiak, is an offensive mastermind. He was the offensive coordinator for Seattle. I think with Tom Brady being more of a say in the organization, they hired a really, really good football guy in Spytek as their GM. I think the Raiders are out in the upswing. You look at their signings. I mean, they signed Nakobe Dean. They signed as a linebacker from Philly. Great player. They signed Quay Walker, linebacker from Green Bay. Great player. They signed Kwity Paye, really solid defensive end. Now you have Max Crosby back in the building. You signed Tyler Lindenbaum. You put this team together. They're going to be competitive. I think the ceiling for them is probably 7 to 8 wins. I think that's probably realistically as high as they're going to get this year. But I think that's a great improvement based upon how they played this past season. And
I say give them 2 years. This is what I told the guy that bet me $500. Yeah, I said, not this first year. Let everybody get to know everybody.
Yes.
And mainly get some wide receivers first, guy.
Yeah.
Get some wide receivers. I know you guys are high on Brock Bowers, but we need a number 1 wide receiver to go with Mendoza. You agree?
Yeah, Brock Bowers becomes a much better tight end with a number 1 wide receiver, right? I mean, and so I mean, look at Kansas City. I mean, I think it's no debate that Travis Kelce is one of the greatest tight ends of all time, and without wide receivers, it's pretty easy to take him away.
Exactly. Double team him. It makes it look like he lost a step when he's being double teamed.
For sure. Listen, if I'm banging you on the line and I'm putting 2 guys on you, I don't care how young you are, you're going to look like you lost a step because you're fighting for every inch of that field.
Yes.
Listen, I'm high on the Raiders. I'm not that high. Your guy is maybe a little high, but
I appreciate the $500.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Let me start looking at what I can buy with it. But I think they're going to be an improved football team, and they're going to be competitive. The NFL is better when the Raiders are competitive. It excites me to think that they're on the upswing.
Yeah, their fans are fun. Their fans are fun.
They are fun because it's always fun to beat them, right?
Yeah, there you go. And Raiders, here at Blow the Whistle Sports, this year you guys have improved. I say in the second year, your guys are competing top notch. Third year, Raiders. Y'all back in the driver's seat.
There we go. I like it. I'm with you. I agree.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week, same time, and we're also on tomorrow. Tune in. Check us out. We'll see y'all. Patrick, you got anything to say before we get up out of here?
Hey, let's tomorrow night. We'll talk a little baseball. World Series Baseball Classic just ended, and I'm sure Steve will have lots to say about that, and we'll have lots to say about how that tournament went. And no, I look forward to it. Thank you always for having me, Wayne. It's always a pleasure to talk a little sports with you.
And we'll see y'all next week. Peace out.
See ya. Mm-hmm.